Once again, welcome to the War Room. We are playing as the Kingdom of Goryeo. It is the year 1356, we are 19 years into the game. It is the year that in our history, the Golden Bowl was enacted and the HRE took the form that we know it to be in the early modern period. But in this timeline, of course, there is no Golden Bowl. The HRE is probably a mess. And how do I know that? Well, I have line of sight over Europe. In fact, I know exactly where the Austrian capital is. It's in Vienna, of course. But it only took us 18 years to get access to Europe. And now we're improving our relations with the Venetians with the eventual goal of getting the Age of Renaissance advances, which I'm fairly certain we will get within the next 20 years or so. So without further ado, let us dive right in. I am going to start with our relations with Venice. So we want to send them a gift, but do we have enough money for that? Yes, we do, barely. Our economy is in a pretty nice shape, actually. So let's send a tribute to the Venetians. That increases their opinion by 40. And once their opinion has increased a bit more, we should be able to start offering them fleet basing rights, which will start spreading their embraced institutions to our capital. And you want to know what institutions they've embraced? Well, for now they've only embraced banking. They don't have a Renaissance or the professional armies yet, but they're going to start getting all of those in a few moments. So very shortly after we have established diplomatic relations with Venice, we will start getting additional spread to all three Renaissance institutions in our capital, and as the Venetians keep embracing them, we will start getting progress towards them as well. And speaking of the economy, we are doing remarkably well, despite not taxing everyone to the max, because we don't want them to get too upset with us. We don't want any rebellions. They do pop up from time to time. We are getting a decent amount in profits. We have 18 trade income, which is fairly okay for this stage of the game. We have a bunch of trade offices in China and in India. They are printing quite a bit of money for us. And our expenses are fairly tame. We don't have any standing armies. We have just 50 guys sitting there waiting for an opportunity to boost our crown power. We don't have any forts. Our buildings are fairly reasonable. We only have the local governor and then a bunch of infrastructure buildings essentially. And well, if you look at our wealth map mode, our capital Kaesong is actually one of the wealthiest locations in the world. So the only places that come anywhere close are a few locations in China. I think this location has a higher wealth than us, and some major cities in India. I mean, the Delhi area is still hands down number one, but with the fall of Delhi disaster looming, I am fairly sure that India will not stay as rich for as long, whereas we are only going to get richer and richer and richer as time goes on. And of course, all of that comes from our amazing RGOs as Korea. We have, I believe, 7 gold mines and 6 silver mines in this single peninsula, along with silk, pepper, pearls, iron, just everything. Like, the RGO map mode of Korea is literally insane. I have no idea what Paradox was thinking when they designed this. I have no idea if this is because of the feedback that they got during the Tinto maps, or if it's despite the feedback that they got, but like, just wow. Korea is simply broken right now in the game, and the only reason that it's not one of the best countries in the game is because they're basically sandwiched between China and Japan. And Japan you can deal with usually, but China can be quite a nuisance. At the same time, China can also be a great boon to your country, and as soon as the tribute payments resume from the Middle Kingdom, we are going to start getting hundreds of ducats per month from China, simply for existing and being close to them. But enough chit chat. China is in turmoil. The Yuan dynasty is imploding, and as their longtime vassal and ally, we must do something. We are going to sit right where we are, and we're going to get some popcorn. Oh wait, we don't have corn. We're going to get some pop rice, and we're just going to watch the carnage. And there is something oddly satisfying about seeing China implode, but honestly, Yuan is just toast. They're just going to get destroyed, and when they're destroyed, we are going to go to whoever has become the new leader of China. We're going to kowtow to them and say, yo, where's my money at? Because they will start paying us insane amounts of tribute. We just need to wait. We just need to wait until China has disintegrated fully, and until the warlords have stopped fighting amongst each other and someone has emerged victorious from the bloodbath. Well, our relations with Venice have improved more than enough, and we can now offer them fleet basing rights. Obviously, we're going to do exactly that, and with that, we should get a tiny bit. Let me see. Oh, there we go. We are getting a tiny bit of advance towards banking in our capital. Interesting. Okay, we aren't getting any progress towards professional armies or renaissance, but that's quite alright. So banking is probably the most important institution here, followed by renaissance, followed by the professional armies, which is quite okay. Ideally, I would like to have a few more countries in Italy. So we are trying to get spy networks up, but you know, it's taking us quite a while. But eventually we will have line of sight over the rest of Italy, and when we do, that will actually allow us to get fleet basing rights with more countries, which will in turn translate into more spread towards the Renaissance institutions in our capital. You know, the text here is just so funny. They're not supposed to ally each other. I think if you're playing as Yuan, this isn't as funny, but right now, the way I see it, oh, I'm just having so much fun simply watching the Mongols disintegrate from here. I'm also going to do a royal marriage with the Ashikaga shogunate. If I'm correct, so this guy is a second in line for the throne. He's the younger brother of the current shogun. If I'm correct, this can eventually lead into a union between Korea and Japan, since our side of the union, our side of the marriage agreement here is our crown princess. So eventually I think we should be able to put my grandchild, my grandson, on the throne of Japan. But of course we'll see. This is just purely hypothetical. I've never done this. I've never had only daughters as Korea. It's kind of difficult to get actually. But assuming this works, we can get a union over all of Japan without firing a single arrow, maybe even. One of the best flavor events that you have access to as Korea is the brightest of a generation. And this triggers every 10-20 years, I guess, and it gives you an amazing bonus. It gives you insanely skilled characters that you can add to your country, and you can eventually make them cabinet ministers. So in this case, let's see. Okay, this guy looks nice. Ideally we want the best diplomat, but the diplomatic character is kinda meh. So, you know what, let's get the administrator. He has 97 admin. Also, it's been 20 years since the start of the campaign, so I'm going to go to the Middle Kingdom interface, strengthen ministry, Ministry of Personnel. Usually this is the best ministry that you can go for the extra cabinet seat and 20% cabinet efficiency, which is massive. The Ministry of Revenue is also a decent option. Extra tax, extra income from minting threshold, all lovely. The Ministry of Rights, I guess it could be useful, but it's very situational. And the Ministry of Justice, again, useful, but very situational. You definitely don't want to go for the Ministry of War, and the Ministry of Works is just a worse version of revenue or even personnel. So I guess this is the optimal choice here. We will get the Ministry of Personnel. It costs us 20 stability, but that's quite alright. I mean, you know, as long as we are sitting near 0, that's going to be okay. And if we let the game take just one day, we can appoint a new cabinet minister. We also have a few favors with Venice, so we can also request fleet basing rights in addition to offering them. And if you have both request and offer fleet basing rights, that actually doubles the amount of institution spread that you get in your capital. And look at that, we're already getting a spread towards professional armies as well. And it's going to be present in this location by April 69 and in February 69. So we will be able to embrace all of the Renaissance institutions in the 1370s at the latest. So this is an interesting event. Not only do we get a bit of extra ability to our cabinet minister, who is already pretty chatty, we also get +5 towards Synicized, and we get a modifier that gives us 0.20 monthly progress to Synicized for the next 5 years. It's decaying, but it will still push us a bit towards Synicized. Now the trouble with the Synicized versus unsynicized value is, if you go above 90 Synicized, you will be eligible for a certain disaster, which is currently bugged. Like, if you get it while the yuan is in its current state, let us say, the disaster keeps triggering, and then the disaster just stops and then triggers again. As I said, it's bug. You can get it more than once. You can get it in short succession. So I don't want to get caught in that sort of buggy stuff. So I'm not going to push 100% to Synicized. If you stay below 90, that should be quite alright. But let's see if we can still push. Okay, lovely. I am going to push to something like 85-90%. So we get a bit of extra research as well as increased tribute, which will come in handy, and also trade capacity, which is always useful to have. Like, I mean, if you look at the value here, Synicized may be one of the most lopsided values in the game. Being Synicized gives you all of these insane buffs, whereas unsynicized just gives you, I don't know, cultural tradition? Reduces your trade capacity, which is pretty bad. Stability investment cost could be useful, but you know, how often do you invest in stability anyways? Like, I only want to get it above 10 right now, and then I'm going to just cut this entire slider anyways. It is 1358, and you know what that means? It is time for us to swindle the shogunate again. This time we are going to get almost 3,600 ducats. Oh my god, just look at that. Insane numbers here. We will obviously increase literacy, appease the temples, appease the elites, and increase tax income. And we can do all of these every 5 years. Actually, we can appease the elites and the temples every 2 years, since we are favoring kami worship. It does lock us out of Buddhist schools, so we lose a bit of development that we could get from Confucianism, but it's all fine and well. We are getting a bunch of extra benefits. Most importantly, we are able to make incessant use of the increased literacy action for the extra monthly research and the max literacy. And as expected, I'm going to use our hard-earned cash here to build up a few more RGOs. I think that's going to be more than enough. We have a lot more money remaining, and I'm going to expand our industries a bit. So we still have a bunch of people and so many building levels that we can build up in our capital. I ideally want this to be the richest province, the richest location in the world, so I'm going to build up our capital a bit more. Specifically, I will build up all of these urban buildings, and it does show that we will suffer a severe deficiency of burghers, but you know what they say, if you build it, they will come, and eventually the pops will promote and the deficiency will be over. All of these buildings will be staffed and all of them will be working at full capacity. I will also build maybe 3 or 4 bailiffs in our critical locations. Specifically, we have a couple gold and silver mines around our country that are just extremely wealthy, and the extra 20% control from the bailiffs is going to print us money in these locations. We have also reached 100 relations with Venice, and you all know what that means. We are going to build a few trade offices in Venice, Not only will this increase our diplomatic range by quite a bit, but because Venice is a fairly rich and generally a useful market center, these may also provide us with a bit of money. Now, Venice is probably not the ideal location to be building trade offices in usually, because there are so many countries and it's going to be difficult for us to have any reasonable amount of trade advantage. But, I guess we still need the trade offices for the diplomatic range anyways, so might as well build them. Also, you might be wondering why I have my diplomatic spending maxed out. Part of it is because we are doing a lot with diplomacy, but the actual reason is we don't have any threatening rivals. We are like sandwiched between China and Japan. And as long as we are in this situation, we can't get any rivals, so our complacency would just skyrocket if I don't have 100% diplomatic spending. And we are making good use of the diplomats, so I think it's all fine and well in my book. Also, I've been dabbling a bit with the union that we've established over Shenyang, and I guess we should probably try to establish seniority here, because this will make us the senior partner of the union, and once that happens, I don't know, I guess we will be able to slowly centralize. So, if I'm not mistaken, eventually the Ashikaga shogunate is also going to fall under union with us, which might actually end up badly if, the shogunate implodes in the Sengoku Jidai. And, I'm not sure what the interactions there will be if they are a junior partner. But if that happens, we might just, lose the game or something. Honestly, I don't care. It's just going to be fun trying to get union over Ashikaga. And for now, the union over Shenyang seems fairly okay to me. Alright, we have established seniority over Shenyang. And let me see how this exactly works. So we get access to a parliament. Okay, it has to be at least one union integration level. I guess we can get that through the centralization law. So, there we go. So if we vote for the unified succession law here, this will increase our integration level by 1. You know what, I guess I'll go for it. Like, integration is always nice to have, I suppose. So let's try and get this. It does say that the estates will lose satisfaction though. Okay, they didn't. Maybe they will lose it once this has passed through the parliament. This is just so opaque. Like, there isn't really a lot of hints or information on how exactly this works or what exactly is going on here. I'm kinda at a loss to figure out what's happening. I guess we'll figure it out as we go. We can offer fleet basing rights to the Republic of Pesaro as well. Let's see if this works as I think it does. So right now we're getting 0.72 progress towards the institutions. And if we offer them fleet basing rights, does this work in parallel? Because it should. There we go. 1.7%. Okay, that is lovely. So that means we can actually offer fleet basing rights to a lot more Italian miners and simply get pretty huge amounts of progress towards getting the Renaissance institutions in our capital, from where on they will spread to our entire country. And that was certainly unexpected. The miner tribe of Halan has declared war on us. And they've brought pretty much the entire Jurchen confederation with them. Oh, jeez. Okay. I guess we're going to raise our levies. And I guess we're going to defend. Like, I have no idea why they did this, but, we are on the defensive. So we should be able to win. Okay, maybe not if they have tribal cavalry. Those are pretty strong, but... yeah, you know what? These tribes are just so minor, they're probably useless. I think we'll easily win this, and we might even be able to get a bit of extra land in the north regions here. And maybe even take parts of Manchuria, release a vassal, do something like that. I think this is a fairly decent opportunity. So far so good. They do have a huge amount of tribal cavalry, but we do outnumber them almost 10 to 1. So that was one battle in our favor. Let's see how many men they have. Okay, we actually outnumber them, so if we can isolate them and just like that, if we can take out their forces in isolated battles on good terrain, we should easily be able to win this war. While for once the winter is affecting the enemy as much as it is doing to us, and they are stuck here, moving into the mountainous location, and they are suffering some amount of casualties. It's not like they have a lot of men to spare, but neither do we. And we definitely need to figure out a way of getting this stack back up north, which I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to be possible. Gosh, if we can look here. Yep. Is this all mountain? Oh yeah. So there's a pocket here of flat land that is surrounded by mountains, and if you go in, you literally can't get out. North Korea is just the worst as far as physical geography, topography is concerned. The winter is over. I managed to get my armies to the other side, and they do seem to have most of their armies in smaller stacks. They're kind of divided. For some reason, they're dealing just way too much morale damage. It's difficult to actually defeat them. But if this becomes a war of attrition, we are definitely in a better position than the Jurchens to actually win. But, you know, if it does become a war of attrition, and it probably is going to, it's going to take a while, and it's going to cost us a lot of men and a lot of money. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Technically, we're losing the battles, but these are like tactical losses but strategic victories for us, because their cavalry is being torn to shreds, and even though we are losing the battles, we are losing fewer men than they are. So eventually we should be able to push back, and I'm kinda regretting the decision to destroy the northern forts here, but it's okay. Even if we have these areas occupied, they aren't really worth much. They're just mountainous land, not really all that useful for our purposes anyways. A couple more battles have gone well for us, I guess. Yep, that's another stack wipe right there. And I guess we are succeeding in our strategy of isolating and destroying the separate stacks. And soon enough, the Jurchens should simply run out of men to throw at us. And more battles are going our way. So if we destroy these stacks as well. Okay, can we destroy them? Yes, lovely. Do they have any men remaining? They only have like 1,000. Okay, lovely. So now we're going to firstly liberate all of these areas, and then we will start pushing slowly into Manchuria. And I guess Haiyan have broken free as well. So could we declare war? Oh, no, we have our levies raised. But eventually we should be able to declare war on them, because I think we have a claim zone province. Yes, we got this from an event. So if we manage to liberate a bit of land and then push a little within the next 2 years, we should be able to declare another war on Haiyan and reclaim all of North Korea within the span of the next 3, 4, maybe 5 years, I guess. We got another lovely Korean flavor event, the recipe for black powder, which will allow us to steal black powder from China, as well as get this guy. He's not too bad, he's okay, I guess. We unlock the gunpowder engines advanced in the Age of Renaissance. We still have to research this regularly, but it will give us a bit of extra firearms output. We gain a gunsmith, so we will start producing guns in our capital, and we get a bit of research progress. All for the lovely sum of 781.88 ducats. Yikes. Honestly, the cost scaling in these events is just leaves a lot to be desired, but it's going to get much worse. You will see in a few episodes. For now, research is research. I am going to accept this. even though it costs us pretty dearly. We have improved our relations with and got fleet basing rights with a few more Italian states. Right now we are getting 1.72% spread for each of the Renaissance institutions. At this rate, the last institution, Renaissance, will spread to us by March 1366, which is just amazingly fast considering that we are in East Asia. So we're able to get these institutions 25 years within their spawn date. Honestly, that's just like, sometimes I can't get them within 25 years when I'm playing in Europe. And here we are on the other side of the world, all the way in the Kingdom of Goryeo, and we are getting the institutions. This is just broken. And our pacification of Manchuria is going rather badly, actually. We got defeated quite a few times by the remaining Jurchen forces, and honestly, I don't know how to go about this. Like, we've occupied a significant amount of land, but it doesn't feel like we're making actual progress because we keep getting defeated by the Jurchens in the field, and I have to send my troops back and again, because honestly, this is just a hellhole. Like, the you know, geography here, the climate, this is just such bad land. I mean, this might be one of the worst wars that I've ever fought in. It reminds me a bit of how things used to go when I attacked Georgia as the Ottomans, with the hellish winter and the mountainous geography. It's pretty much the same. Much fewer mountains, much worse food conditions, and really, the Jurchens are a menace. So at long last, we managed to destroy all of the Manchurian armies. I'm going to start carpet sieging their remaining lands. Most of their fortresses are located in this region, so everything towards the east should be up for grabs. And I'm guessing we're going to actually conquer a lot of land. We might even just full annex the entire confederation here and just release a few vassals. Technically we will get antagonism, but honestly it's just antagonism with the Jurchens. Like, who even cares about Manchuria? And as usual, we are able to extort the Ashikaga shogunate for even more money. Right now it's at 3,810 ducats. We're going to use this to develop our country even further, of course, and I will get all of the other stuff here as well, appease the elites, increase literacy, etc. We are actually running out of the decent RGOs. Right now the ones we have that we can build only give us less than 8 ducats in profit over the next 3 years. So I think we're going to start urbanizing a bit more, and our next target after our capital is probably going to be the city of Namgyong. We can build most of the industries here, and let me see what we're going to build exactly. So cloth is in high demand right now, probably because we built up a bunch of fine cloth manufacturers. I am building it up in our 3 biggest cities. I think I'll also build a few in Jinju, which should be useful. Maybe in Suging as well, I'm not sure. Yeah, why not, why not? You know, the more we urbanize these areas, the better. And I'm also going to build a few more bailiffs. And at this point, I think we should start considering libraries as well, because our spy networks are suffering a little. Ideally, I would like to get a bit more line of sight over Europe, which we are going to need spy networks for. And the libraries also give us an additional 5% max literacy, as well as monthly literacy, institution growth, so all of the goodies. Oh, in fact, I should have built one in our capital much sooner, just to make use of the institution growth. But you know, I guess I keep forgetting stuff like this sometimes. As for the bailiffs, it's usually a good idea to just look at the wealth map mode. I mean, this early in the game, we are definitely not going to get more than 80 control anywhere across our country, except for the immediate environs of our capital. So any location which you can click when building a bailiff is going to be fair game, and I guess I'm going to build a couple in the wealthy locations. So these are probably our gold and silver mines, that kind of stuff. Maybe in a couple of locations over here. Just make sure that you look at the wealth, make sure that it has low control, and you'll be good to go. Build as many bailiffs as you can, and our goal in the mid game will be to urbanize half of our country and build bailiffs in the other half, essentially. And in the exact moment where I occupy all of Manchuria, the tribe of Haiyan decided to jump right in. So now I'm going to have to re-raise my levies, and now I will have to occupy all of their lands as well. On the flip side, we will get all of their lands, and that means that we will have completed our reconquest of North Korea. Luckily, the siege didn't take all that long. Unluckily, well, they re-raised their levies and they attacked me. But I should be able to full annex them by suing for a separate peace. Okay, so we'll send this, and there we go. Now I'm going to take a look. I will try to send a peace deal to Halan. Not send, but like consider a peace deal in which I take all of Manchuria, just to see how much antagonism it causes to nearby countries. So this is going to be our peace deal, and you know, the antagonism is nowhere near as bad as I thought it would be. I guess being on the defending side helps quite a lot here. So I'm going to do something that is just absurd. I'm going to go through every single one of these tiny little tribes, and I will annex them one by one, and then I will probably release them as a vassal. And it's going to take like 15 minutes of my time, and I will get a bit of carpal tunnel, but that's okay. The things we do for love. And that's the final one. Just look at that monstrosity. This should be classified as a crime against humanity. Oh god. But well, I mean, I guess it's better that we hold the land than some random Jurchen tribe, am I right? And we can also use it for further expansion into Manchuria, because the area actually has insane amounts of fur and also decent bit of iron and other stuff as well. And fur is usually in pretty high demand across East Asia and really the world, so I guess it's not all too bad. Now I'm considering releasing some vassals here, but the issue is, unlike in most games, I actually want to go centralized for once. Although, wait, why am I getting... oh, did I inherit another vassal? No, I just got this one. Huh. Interesting. So a single vassal actually pushes you 0.3 towards decentralization. Wow. That is just an insane amount of decentralization. Okay. Okay, I guess we are going decentralized in this game after all. I was just so hopeful. I was just going to play this as a whole country for once, but you know, the game had other plans. I'm going to release Manchuria as a bunch of vassals, and after that we will continue playing where we left. Okay, turns out that was a bug of some sort, and our subjects are only pushing us at 0.09 towards decentralization, which is all good. We can counteract that using our cabinet, and later on we can keep centralizing our country as I wanted to do since the very beginning. I might or might not continue building up and conquering Manchuria. We will see about that. For now, I've released 3 fiefdoms here, and I've fed most of the land that we've conquered from the Manchurian tribes to them. They should be more than capable of holding out the frontier against any further Jurchen raids. And ideally, I will want to conquer these small tribes in these areas as well to get prettier borders. Remember that Shenyang is my union subject, so essentially we created a buffer in northern China and Manchuria against Chinese encroachment and against the Jurchen tribes. Eventually, I will most likely colonize this area, if only to get access to the insane numbers of fur argios that are present there. But for now, let's stay away from colonization as well. And we are still getting a bit of spread for the institutions. Two of them have already spread fully to our capital, so we have professional armies, we have banking, and the Renaissance is going to be here in 6 months. And mind you, this is April 1365. This is only 30 years, this is less than 30 years into the game. 25 years, 23 years since the start of the Age of Renaissance. And already we have the institutions present in our country in Korea. I mean, the city of Kaesong is just like a beacon of enlightenment and Renaissance thought amidst a sea of red and orange. Just look at this map. Just look at the beauty of this tiny little spot over here. And since this is our market capital, we are going to get a pretty decent amount of spread to all of our other locations. So these locations, these institutions are spreading rapidly across our country. They will keep spreading, and we will get the libraries up and functioning very soon. So they will also contribute a bit more to the institution spread. And in general, I think we will be able to embrace all three institutions before the year 1370, or maybe in the early 1370s at the latest. I also lucked out and got to develop the interior parliament issue here, which decreases the cost of urban buildings by 20%. That's going to be fairly useful. I guess I'll embark on an urban building spree now. Specifically, I'll start by building a bunch of marketplaces in all of my urban locations. Now, technically, this is not the ideal way to grow. Ideally, since our urban locations have reached their capacity, their burger limit, and it's going to take a while for the new burgers to actually promote, we would be urbanizing locations instead. But honestly, I mean, we got the parliament issue. It's always good to have. And in 3 years, we are going to get another cash injection from the Ashikaga shogunate, at which point we should easily be able to urbanize the area around our capital. So specifically, I probably want to build towns in this location and in this location, and maybe expand a bit westwards, because these two locations are pretty okay. Like if we look at the vegetation, they're grasslands. You definitely want to start with this location first, it's farmlands. And these are all flatlands here. This is one of the few pockets of flatlands that is present in Korea. Most of the country is hilly and mountainous. So if you look at the vegetation, if you look at the topography, even the climate, Korea is not actually ideal for urbanization. Like, you know, most of this land is subprime as far as building towns and cities is concerned. But the presence of just these insane raw materials simply makes Korea one of the richest countries in the game. And by abusing both Chinese and Japanese mechanics, we are also able to get insane amounts of money flowing into our coffers. So honestly, I don't care. We can just urbanize and build up all the buildings that we want. We don't really have to min-max things in the economy here. Like we can afford to be a lot less optimized than if we were playing as, I don't know, say Kilwa or Yemen, or I don't know, some less developed country. So we're just going to play along, and I'm going to treat this as an exercise in opulence rather than as an opportunity to optimize everything as far as the economy is concerned. The institutions are just spreading like wildfire. Banking has already been embraced in quite a few of our locations, and the rest are just spreading out very slowly from their origin at Kaesong. So in a few more years, we will be on par with Europeans, and in fact, we will be better than quite a lot of Europeans in terms of technology. Just look at that. Bulgaria, for example, has zero progress towards Renaissance or the professional armies in most of their country. The Ottomans are still struggling, and I'm guessing most of Northern Europe is behind us, as far as institutions are concerned. So we will begin urbanizing our country in earnest in a few years, and for that we will need a bunch of masonry. And in urbanization you need a lot of masonry, a lot of glass, and a lot of lumber. We already have more than enough lumber and glass to cover our needs. We just need to get more masonry build up. So I'm going to build up a bunch of masons, and let's hope that the Illuminati does not really take an interest in our country because of all the masons that we are inviting. We can increase the integration of our union even further by voting for the unified treasury here. And let's see. I don't think we can get any of the other policies right now. As for the parliament, okay, so Shenyang has the same integration level that we do. I'm still not quite sure how we're supposed to use the parliament. Again, I guess I'll fiddle with this a bit and figure it out as I go. And it is the year 1368. Only 31 years since the start of the game. Only 26 years since the start of the Age of Renaissance. And already we are able to embrace the banking and professional armies institutions. This is just absurd. This is beyond absurd. Okay, I'll go ahead and grab banking first. And once we have a bit more money, we will also take professional armies. But just... So if we take all 3 of these, we should get something like another 0.15, 0.20 extra monthly research, which is going to be fairly useful on its own. But these are institutions, like all of the goodies in this age are gated behind the institution. And I mean, if you're talking about that, I guess we should also start looking into this. Like, I definitely want to get, for example, the docks and the protected harbors and the pound block canals, which also give us an additional 5% max literacy, all of that stuff. So I'll take a look. But if you're actually literacy maxing, what you should really do is, I'm gonna take a look at the demography here. Let's see. You guys, you have a 33.98% literacy. You can have a maximum literacy of 35%. Okay. So essentially, you are not at your cap yet, but you're going to be at your literacy cap very, very soon. Okay, so you know what? I'll probably queue up the literacy advance. Although we are also going to get the Renaissance very soon. Okay, you know what? I'll wait until we have the Renaissance. And when we have the Renaissance, obviously the ideal answer here will be to get Renaissance, Renaissance taught, permanent cabinet, so that we get the government reform and the cabinet seat, and then the university, not just for the university building itself, but also because it unlocks the education of the elites policy. And by going for education of the people, we will be able to get another 5% literacy across the board. Okay, not quite across the board, but for everyone except for clergy, nobility, and the tribes, and tribes. So this actually applies to peasants, laborers, and soldiers. So this is essentially equivalent in practice to an additional 5% max literacy boost. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll wait for a few more months. We should have the Renaissance embraceable in a few more months, maybe 6, maybe 10. And then when we do, we're going to go all in on the Renaissance tree. We also managed to enact the unified treasury policy in the union with Shenyang. And honestly, the payments are just 1% of our total budget here, but it's still good. It increases the level. In fact, let me see. Okay, so we are both at integration level 2. I believe you can integrate them fully once you reach integration level 4, although I'm not quite sure. I'll fiddle a bit more with the union stuff here. Okay, so I checked the requirements here. And apparently you get an additional law or policy unlocked every 10 years. So this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And once the union has been active for 50 years, you will be able to get the unification of crowns thingy here. So it's going to take us a while, but we essentially got this union at the very start of the game. So, you know, I'm quite okay with that. This is still going to be unified probably before 1400. Definitely before 1450. But the real question is, do I want to unify? Like, do I actually want to annex these lands? Especially since doing so could trigger China. Or, I mean, it looks like it's going to be the Kingdom of Chen that will reunify China. You can never really tell with this kind of stuff, but whoever ends up in control of China, I don't really want to antagonize them too much either. But again, this isn't really urgent. We can just bide our time, wait and see, and eventually we will, you know, get the option, even if we don't end up using it. And that is institution number 2. Professional armies is also a go. Lovely. So only Renaissance remains out of the Renaissance institutions now. Oh, and would you look at that, the rise of Timur. For once, Timur is actually doing something. I think he annexed Chagatai, because I saw a notification. And now he's descending on Delhi. Okay, I did not expect that. Usually he just dies. But in this game, it looks like we're going to see the Mughals. If they manage to conquer Delhi, eventually Timur is going to either form Mughals or I don't know, we're just going to get Timurid India, I guess. And that was much faster than I expected, actually. The Renaissance has spread it throughout our country, and I am going to embrace it immediately. There we go. The Renaissance institution has been embraced. In just 31 years. We got all of them. We caught them all. We actually managed to catch them all. All 3 institutions of the Renaissance and all 3 institutions of the Age of Traditions. This is just adorable. So I guess that is going to be our first goal, which has already been accomplished. We got all of the institutions. We are now on par with Europe as far as technology is concerned. In fact, we are ahead of certain parts of Europe. We don't have sight over most of Northern Europe, but I'm willing to bet that most of Germany, most of Eastern Europe, maybe even England, Scandinavia for sure, most of Northern Europe probably doesn't have these institutions yet. And here we are, we've already embraced them. I think the Mamluks have... Oh, interesting. So the Mamluks haven't embraced anything but banking either, so in fact, if we had just stayed in Egypt, as I did in my previous games, and if we didn't branch over into Italy, we would still be struggling to get the other 2. Like, we would probably have banking, barely, but we wouldn't have Renaissance or professional armies. So anyways, I'm going to queue up the university technologies here. It's just 4 tax. It's going to be pretty easy to get. And I'll also get the Crown Power. And I'll also get the Confucian Academy for the extra pop promotion, which is going to be sorely needed in most of our urban locations as we keep urbanizing. And the max literacy and institution growth are also fairly useful. But most importantly, the Confucian Academy actually employs 50 nobles. So this is essentially a plus 50 nobles in all of your urban locations, and all of the demand that they create that comes along with those 50 nobles. And after that, the world is our oyster. Like, we can get all of the technologies that we want. I will keep literacy maxing, I will keep research progress maxing, and I will also keep using the actions here to get, frankly, insane, obscene amounts of money. So, well, since we have accomplished our first major agenda, since we have embraced all three institutions of the Renaissance and achieved technological parity with the Europeans in only 31 years, I guess this is as good a place as any to cut. And thank you all for watching. In the next episode, we are going to have a coup, and it's going to be so much fun. If you enjoyed this one and you want to keep watching for more, definitely subscribe to the channel, and I guess I will see you once again in the war room.